So what I always notice about my presentations is that the question round is always longer than the presentation itself. So I'll try to keep it short. I try to keep it entertaining, as taxes is a pretty boring subject. I'm very honest on that. I was able to write an article for Coinbureau about why Portugal is a tax heaven for European standards. So I will first tell a little bit about my personal experience, because the question that I often get is like, so you're not Portuguese, so how are you Dutch, living here, know everything about Portuguese law? Like, I spoke to Portuguese lawyers that don't know as much about you. Why? So I moved here 10 years ago, 10 years ago, and my first job was working for an immigration consultancy, where I just helped foreigners moving to Portugal. So that's where I really built my expertise on informing them about taxes, informing them about immigration, about NHR, opening an activity, business. And I did that for 3 years. And after I moved to Bose, the headphone company, where I worked on finance. And my clients just said, like, Thomas, we feel more affiliated with you personally than with the company. Is it possible that you can just keep taking track of our bookkeeping? And I was like, yeah, no worries, we can do that. So I opened like a freelance activity. I started on Fiverr, and on the side I just kept doing the bookkeeping services because I built up that skill. Then in Bose I was also able to connect with the director of finance, and we decided to see if putting our supply chain on the blockchain was a good solution to inform our clients about the delays of the manufacturing of chips. So I worked on a blockchain experience there. Then from Bose, I basically moved to Nielsen, where I mostly was focusing on NFTs. But my interest in crypto was slowly growing, and I was very happy to be here at the Block 2017. The Block is really like the OG community in Lisbon. Like, we started with a really small group. I remember that this whole place was like new and it needed to be refurbished, but we were already here to discuss crypto, and it was mostly Bitcoin and Ethereum because all the other coins were still non-existent. So my experience of basically working in immigration and my interest in crypto just merged into Crypto and Taxes Portugal. And I had this conversation with a friend that's like, I want to come up with a really cool name, one that everyone remembers. And he's like, why don't you just call it what it is, Crypto and Taxes Portugal, so you don't have to explain it. It's like, okay, let's go for that. So here are our reviews. So it's not very visible, but on Fiverr we have 72 reviews, 5 stars, only for helping people to move to Portugal. And the company reviews, so this is more personal for me. This is what I built up since 2017. And this is our company reviews, which is 4.6, because on Trustpilot I think you need at least 30 reviews to reach the 5 stars. So you can check it online. All the 18 are 5 stars. You can check what I did for them and how they experienced it. And besides that, I also did create reports for Crypto Tax Calculator, Australian company, CryptoCat, and Taxtris. I built reports on how to tax cryptocurrency in Portugal, so they create the software to do so. Currently only working with CryptoCat. If you fill in Crypto Taxes 23, you get 20% discount on their model. They are the only one that provided crypto tax software for Portugal. So you can fill in your wallets, and they even have a built-in calculator saying like, hey, if you're selling these assets, they fall under the 365-day tax-free rule. So they even give a little bit of advice. Sorry, did I miss something? So yeah, no, those are our clients. So let's start with the main topics. So 0 taxes in Portugal or 20% flat rate. This is regarding the NHR, because this is important. The NHR is going to stop. So if you're still interested in moving to Portugal or you didn't obtain the NHR yet, I wanted to start with important topics first. So the deadlines is you have to become a resident by the end of this year, and you have to apply for the NHR before the 31st of 2024. So it's really something that you need to make a quick decision. Then let's jump to crypto, because that's where we all came for. So why are the laws implemented so quickly? We're talking about like 2023. So we were living in 2022, everything was fine, crypto was not regulated, a lot of people moved here. Then in November they decided, you know what, we're going to tax crypto. So there was really somebody in the government that started working on it, started learning about crypto like 1 month, and then created a law. And that's why the law doesn't make a lot of sense. You can see that it's not a crypto native that created this law. But why I think it's implemented so quickly is because a lot of European countries, like North European countries, saw people moving to Portugal to not have to pay taxes on their crypto assets. So the European Union, I believe, has said you have to come up with some rules because we are one team here in Europe. We don't steal residents from each other, so you have to come up with some rules. So why the 28% on capital gains, and more important, tax-free if you held your capital gains longer than 365 days. So the 365 days rule is only for capital gains. So if you had staking rewards and you held them for 365 days, you still have to pay taxes. So only capital gains, important. 28%, why 28%? If you're holding, if you have capital gains in stocks, you also pay 28%. If you have dividends, you pay 28%. If you have interest, you pay 28%. So what they try to do is to match the old tax system with the new one for crypto. So that's why it's 28%. So how do you calculate your capital gains? So capital gains is like you acquire an asset at some point and you sold it in the hope that you make some wins, because else it's a loss which you can also declare. What is capital gains? If you buy a house with your crypto assets, that is considered cashing out. So that is when you have to pay capital gains. If you held them longer than 365 days, obviously no capital gains. Same counts for your Binance card. Spending your crypto to buy other non-crypto assets is also a form of cashing out. All the other ones, as long as it stays in crypto, it's not a form of cashing out and you don't have to pay any taxes. So it's not a taxable event, as we call it. How are staking rewards taxed? So staking rewards are taxed in two different ways. There is a clear differentiation between staking rewards that are coming from newly minted tokens, like Ethereum and Polkadot, and there is a way of receiving staking rewards from the redistribution of fees that users paid. In that case, like Algorand and Cosmos, you pay 7.5% taxes max. How? For the 7.5% taxes max, you have to open an activity in Finanzas and declare your profits in there. So when you sell your staking rewards, you have to declare them there and you will pay maximum 7.5% taxes. So this is a clear path that either it's newly minted tokens or fee distribution, but I just tried to find some examples and that was a hell of a job. And I'm not sure if I did it correctly because like really looking into the protocol and see what are your distribution, what are your distribution rewards is pretty difficult. Because as far as I know, Cosmos has currently an APY of 20%. I don't believe that is only fee distribution. But that's how it's described on their protocol. So this is something that you have to figure out for yourself. You can always make it fall under 28% because the government loves taxes. So if you want to pay more, you can always pay more. You can just not always pay less. That is an important topic. So how are the other DeFi rewards taxed? So other DeFi rewards are airdrops, are play-to-earn gaming, liquidity providing, and that crypto is a validator on the Cosmos ecosystem that I work with. And I couldn't find a better icon to show what a validator is. So those DeFi rewards, they all fall under the 7.5% category. So if you sell those rewards, you have to declare them in your activity in Finanzas and you pay maximum 7.5% taxes. Can you buy property with crypto in Portugal? So as you saw earlier, you can indeed, whenever you are buying property with crypto, it's a form of cashing out. What you just need to have is you have to have a lawyer that looks at your situation, looks at your wallets, sees that you did everything regarding KYC, you always submitted it to your taxes, all the crypto that you held are tax-free and legal, then you convert it into, you can buy a property. The thing is, you also need to find a seller that accepts cryptocurrency, and that is the biggest problem, because sellers don't want to have cryptocurrency, although they should, because at the moment that they receive it, they can sell it immediately. And in the most property contracts, they just say like, you have to pay 1 million in Bitcoin. It doesn't say like you have to pay in 40 Bitcoin, no, it says like you have to pay 1 million in Bitcoin. So for sellers, it shouldn't be an issue, but again, you need to find another crypto investor that believes in it and that's like, yeah, I'm okay with you paying me in crypto. So this is also an important topic, is buying and selling NFTs is not taxed because it's not regulated currently. In 2024, this might be different, but currently it's not regulated. But if you're creating NFTs and you're selling them, you have to open an activity. This is just a business activity. This is just taxed as selling software or art, or you're a painter. It's taxed in the same way. So only buying and selling, so the capital gains on NFTs, that is tax-free, but creating one from zero and selling it, that is a taxable event. Then more NHR questions. When the NHR is approved, am I guaranteed to get the 20%? No, so one thing is applying for the NHR and getting it, but the other one is applying the NHR to your tax situation. So you ask the NHR once for 10 years, but every year you have to look, how am I going to apply it? Am I going to get the 20% flat rate? Am I going to get the tax-free from abroad? So this is a clear differentiation. So once you're applying for the NHR, you don't have to say how you're going to use it, because you might use it as somebody in marketing, but like 2 years, your job might change to something that indeed falls under the NHR. If you receive the NHR, do you have to use it? Like, I'm surprised with the amount of people that come to me and it's like a prison sentence. It's like, oh, I have the NHR, I have to stay in Portugal, I'm not allowed to leave, I have to use it for 10 years. No, you have to really see it as like an insurance. Like every year you can just see, is it beneficial for me? I use it. Is it not beneficial? You don't use it. So the NHR stands for non-habitual resident. Does this mean that you're not a resident in Portugal? No, I don't know. I didn't make up the name. I don't agree with the name, but you are a resident in Portugal because you can only obtain this status if you are a resident in Portugal. So the name is a little bit confusing. Can you get the NHR approved before you move to Portugal? No, because you have to really become a resident in person. I've got this request a lot as well. Can you do the whole process while I'm still living in China? No, it doesn't work that way. You have to come in person. You have to go through the process in person. And once you're a resident, then you can do the NHR request online. And is there any questions?
So if I have a NHR, then I need to order out of Portugal, come back, do I still have the NHR?
I have to double confirm this, but I think you can indeed freeze it. So you have the right for 10 years, you can move out and move back, but I have to double confirm this.
Have we to finish negotiations if I'm going to be here for 6 months?
No, well this is the rule of residency. So there's tax treaties that just say that if you're moving a lot between two countries, what is considered residency? And then it just says in one of the first articles, the country where you spend more than half a year, that's the place where you spend, where you're a resident. It's already mentioned 183 days.
So 183 days, so you can go out and be 3 months
Yes. Yes. But even if your situation is that you're every 4 months you're in a different country, then the 183 days rule is not going to work. So then you have like, okay, where's your circle of life? Where does your family live? Where do you have property? Where do you have assets? Where do you have family? So if you go deeper and deeper and deeper into it when you're indeed having multiple locations.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thank you for the I have a question regarding what you said about planning your house here, for instance. You said that you need to go to see your lawyer, basically, before doing that. Is that something that is compulsory? And if yes, do the lawyer needs to issue a legal opinion to do that or not?
Yes, exactly. So before the transaction gets approved, it needs to make sure that the crypto assets that you hold are compliant with like the anti-money laundering rules, and it also has to be compliant with the tax rules. Like, is this money completely clean? Like, have you submitted the taxes in years before? Like, Portugal has a capital gains taxes, but the Netherlands and other countries, Germany I think as well, they have capital taxes. So if you move from the Netherlands to here, and you never live it up in the Netherlands, but all of a sudden now the crypto appears, this also might be an issue. So before the contract gets signed, it needs to be sure that all the crypto you have is completely clean, and that isn't through legal opinion.
I'm assuming that you're trying to make compliance to be slowly here in Georgia. Is that the case? And in comparison with other jurisdictions where do you think you're finding regulation compliance is an interesting process, and what do you think?
So I am really specialized on Portugal, not really on other countries. I do think Portugal is moving incredibly slow. I also know that their team in Finances that deals with this is incredibly slow, not really interested. So I think Portugal is really waiting for outside help. And as we had a short discussion before, I think there might be a company outside of Portugal that has like a build structure or through AI and says like, hey, we charge this, but we can help you with getting so much more in tax money. And if you really ask about compliance, if you look at like the plus license, it's a help. Like you have to have the plus license, like the virtual asset service provider license, in order to actively run your crypto company in Portugal. But I had a job interview 2 years ago with a company that maybe you guys know, like Utrust, like their founder created like a metaverse project, and I was hired to do the administration there and asked them like, you need a plus license, do you have it? No. And I was like, how long have you been running the company? 2 years. So like one of the OGs of Portugal had a company that is not compliant with the rules in Portugal, although Utrust has this plus license. He just couldn't get it for a second company and still decided to run a business. So with that, the compliances, I think Portugal is really backing what we know. And what I also see is that they changed the rules, so there's tax rules, but there's no way to submit them to your taxes. Like the software is still not updated, which is horrible. And so I made a statement and I spoke to Mario Moura, who's like, I think the only accountant here in Portugal that understands crypto. And he says, my clients are paying VAT on staking rewards or on liquidity rewards. And I was like, why? Well, he says you have to open activity, and you can only declare income and activity by submitting VAT. But like, who are you charging? And it's the only way. So I made a post about it on Twitter, and one of the creators of this law says you have to take it down because what you say is it's dangerous and it's wrong. And it's like, well, then tell me that it's wrong. Show me where it's wrong. Like, you do bookkeeping, you know that this is the only way somebody can submit is money to tax. And you only don't have to pay VAT under 14,000. But the crypto validator that makes like $500,000 per year, he wants to sell more than 14,000. So it is a true problem. What do? You're not giving up anything because you're not supposed to pay VAT, or you're paying VAT while you're also not supposed to be paying VAT. So it's a true problem.
It's like trying to put a Ferrari engine inside of an old, not able
Yeah.
It's not matching.
No.
It's not going to work.
But it's interesting to see that I have a lot of Spanish clients, and in Spain the government is like opposite of Portugal. It's one of the scariest tax authorities in Europe. Like Spanish people are truly scared. They're like, no, but we need to make sure. This is different. No, we need to make sure. Else they're calling me, and yeah, we had the cases like Christina Aguilera that got called, like Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. They're just catching everyone, and like what Spain does is like, we're just going to sue you if we're wrong. If we're right, we're going to get more tax money, but you still have to represent yourself as a lawyer. So we just want to make sure that everything is proper. So in that case, it's strange that like two neighboring countries are complete opposite if you look at the tax law.
Let's do something. Let's keep it now the tax. And we propose the government.
Talk to the government. I mean, you've just been made aware how aware the Portuguese government is. They don't know what NFTs are. I was surprised that they even know that there's like fee distribution and moving into tokens. You need to be quite deep into crypto already to understand that like staking rewards exist out of two components. But yeah, they drafted it and then like let's not update this software. We'll do that next year or the year after. It's insane.
Yes, it's a shame you didn't promote your ebook version. Is it because it's only valid for 2023, this year, or next year?
Yeah, ebook. No, yeah, that was, I have an ebook. I sold 25 copies now. It just has all the crypto tax rules in like 21 pages. It helps, but yeah, I don't really want to promote it because we're now in November. We're discussing rules for 2024. So I don't really want to, like, yeah, Thomas, I got your book. But 1 month later, I hear that the rules are completely changing. Yeah, that's why it's called IRS 2023, not IRS 2024. So, yeah, I'm not really promoting it, but it's on my website, it's on my Twitter page. So if you want to buy it, it's $25. And if you contact me, you can also buy it. Crypto is fully there.
Questions? Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.